So a friend of mine is sick and I'm gonna make her some chicken noodle soup. And I just wanted to document it for you guys in case you wanted to make some chicken noodle soup. Got all my veggies, my mirepoix, some leftover chicken. This is stock, and then some spices I've got, butter. I do recommend you make stock and you can freeze your stock for another time. So this is some stock that I thawed from 2023 October. Still good. Keep it in the freezer. I also have churros in there from another thing. I am going to dice what is called mirepoix. In the cooking world, mirepoix is typically carrots, celery, and onion. And you can make it nice and pretty if you want. Show some care, show that you care. You know, put love into your cooking. I like to do a cut on the bias here with my carrots. Save those little tips for yourself. A little cut on the bias, and then it makes it easier to cut. So check that out. See how that's all laid out for me? Now from there, I just chop. I'm also not in a rush. No need to be a hero. And then from there, dice. I remember my chef, he was showing me how to chop chives more efficiently. He's like, don't be a hero, Norm. Do a little bit at a time. There's no need. Don't rush. All right, carrot. Our celery. If you give your celery a little pound like that, it flattens it out, makes it easier to dice. I love the smell of fresh chopped celery. It smells so good. It reminds me of having a Bloody Mary. I love Bloody Marys. Those are delicious. I'm not drinking right now, actually. I'm trying to go a whole year without drinking any alcohol. We'll see how it goes. I think I need you guys to keep me accountable on that end, because I don't know, sometimes it's hard socially to not drink. It's weird. It's such like a socially acceptable drug. Now, instead of onions today, I'm gonna be using leeks. I love leeks. Usually you wanna give them a little rinsey rinse if they're muddy. These are good, so it's all good. All right, now, that's my mirepoix. Not a usual addition, but I like to add potatoes into my chicken noodle soup. I think it adds a nice texture and like starchiness to it, nice like thickness, which I feel like it just makes it more comforting. So I might make these like, you know, kind of chunky so they don't completely fall apart in the chicken noodle soup. And then the potatoes can go in after. Now let's get on to the pot over here. Okay, so just one knob of butter goes into the pot. I'm gonna fully melt this butter. Then I'm just gonna season that with some kosher salt. And then I'm just gonna sweat this. Now, while that's going there, I've got some sage, thyme, and rosemary left over from market. This is exactly what I want. You can do dried sage, thyme, and rosemary. I just think fresher is so much nicer. To me, this is like Thanksgiving. It's like a very Thanksgiving flavor, you know? So chopping hard herbs is something that I have major OCD with. Like, I will just keep fucking going sometimes because I don't think I can get it fine enough. Like, for some reason, like with hard herbs, I just want to keep chopping and chopping and chopping. I'll even sometimes switch from a thick blade so I can get it like nice and hard to a thin blade. It's just one of those things. You get really into the zone of it and you just keep going. That's probably good enough though. Shouldn't go too crazy because then I'll be here all night. Just do this, potatoes, herbs. Potatoes, herbs go in. And then to our spices, I'm gonna do some chili flake. This is just red pepper chili flake, just a hint of that, just a tinge. And then just a touch of fennel seed, and we stir it up. And then to that, I'm gonna add some Nutrition's yeast for that MSG, black pepper, more salt. Almost forgot to toss in the celery leaf. This has a lot of flavor. I then deglaze with some shoyu soy sauce. Chicken goes in, and then my chicken stock goes in. This is basically like a bone broth because I let it go so long with all the bones. Give that a little stirry stir. The pasta is gonna go in very, very last. So I'm just gonna bring this up and then I'll come back to it. Here's another tip that you didn't ask for. Soy sauce, keep it in the fridge after you open it. Okay, and here I have some fresh pasta. This is just like a fettuccine type cut. And what I'm gonna do is just chop it up into smaller bite size. And that goes right in. Just gotta check if the potatoes fully cooked. I want it to have like a slight al dente. I mean, of course, now I have to taste it myself, right? Have a bowl myself. And that, my friends, is a beautiful cup of chicken noodle soup. And if you're sick, I hope you get better. Have some chicken noodle soup. And there's the soup. I'm gonna drop it off.